Entering the atmosphere in T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Omega Metroid podcast from OmegaMetroid.com. My name is Andy Spiteri, reunited since July for the first time in a long time with Gooey fame. What's up, Goo? How are you, buddy?
Reunited, but at the same time,
Yeah.
like, we're just such a classic. We need like a team name, I feel like, because we are like it's like we're tag team partners, but we also work in different companies, and sometimes we're together. Yeah,
It's like Seth Rollins and John Moxley here. It's top stars, but different promotions.
yeah, top guys.
Yeah. So by the way, like, reuniting is actually not true at all, because we've been doing a lot of great stuff over on the Omega Metroid Patreon page, which a natural plug, by the way. I guess let's just lead off with it, Goo. We just dropped episode 1 of season 2 of Gooey Plays Metroid 2: Return of Samus. I was very, without giving too much away, I was very confident that you would like this game, and I think I was right.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, I'm not gonna spoil anything for the show, but the day before this recording, I played like the next part for the episode.
Yeah.
And it was so awesome, like even more than the first part. And I love this game. So I'm like really excited to talk to you in a couple weeks. We're gonna get together and record about that. But yeah, I did so much. I don't want to spoil it, but you gotta go subscribe.
I had a feeling that you would like this game. So, I kind of talked about it last week, but we did indeed. We dropped the first episode of Metroid 2. We did Metroid 1 back in the last couple of months of 2025. And we even dropped a bonus Gooey Plays Metroid for Metroid Prime 4 in January as well. So there's lots and lots and lots of cool stuff over on patreon.com/spnet. So everybody go and check that out. I want to give a PSA to all of our listeners here today. I am sick as a dog, so if I sound terrible, I'm sorry, but we're powering through, because today is the long-awaited return of one of my favorite sub-series that we do on this show, and that, my friends, is Alien in Review. So we're closing the loop, actually, on the Alien movies. This is the last one that we have to review. We will do Alien Earth after this, but we have done Alien 1, 2, 3, 4, Prometheus. We've done AVP, AVPR. This is it. Alien Covenant is the main attraction for this series. So yes, very exciting. But I actually do think that we should take a quick second to acknowledge a birthday today. It is a very special birthday. And so, as many people probably know, Goo and I met at Zelda Dungeon, and we are still very much actively involved with Zelda Dungeon. And it is the 40th anniversary of the Legend of Zelda series today, as we record this. We're recording this a little bit early on Saturday, but Saturday, the February 21st, is 40 years rather, since Legend of Zelda came out. And a series that means a lot to me. I'm sure a series that means a lot to you, and really has changed my life in a lot of ways, just by evidence of us being here now recording a podcast about Metroid and Alien. But that started because of Zelda, so wanted to give that shout out to the Legend of Zelda as well.
Yeah, I mean, one of the all timers. So what more can you say? Basically, there's not even a series, like, I love a ton of other video game series, and I've come in like recent years, I've realized like the amount that I love the Zelda series is so disproportionate to any other series that I consider myself a fan of. Like, I almost know too much about Zelda compared to other stuff. And I'm not an expert by any means, but you know what I mean? It's just like, wow, yeah. I know like that's like my bread and butter, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Zelda and Metroid were always the ones for me, and Metroid turns 40 this year as well. Castlevania turns 40 this year, so there are some heavy hitters celebrating the big 4-0 this year. But Zelda was, in a lot of ways, it was always my first true love. I would say maybe with the advent of Omega Metroid, that's kind of like more of an equal playing field now, but. Zelda is just like the pinnacle. It's what I think of when I think of like a quality video game series. And one thing that we got to do recently, which was a lot of fun and really something that I felt like really like reinvigorated by, was making a top 40 moments in the Zelda history, basically. And there was like a committee of people that did this. So there was all the copy editors over at Zelda Dungeon, Rod Lloyd, the editor-in-chief, and they invited me in for whatever reason, and we got Mossy's in there as well. And so like we spent a lot of nights really deliberating this list. And it might just seem like a list that was shot out and just kind of like no thought went into it, but I can assure you, like, there was a lot of debating, there was a lot of deliberating, discussion, and the final product went out today on ZeldaDungeon.net. I really encourage everybody to go and check it out. A lot of guest writers did spots for this as well. And one thing that I was reading, I knew it was you before I even got to the bottom when I saw you talking about how Link sucks so bad in the cartoon. And I was like, that's
why it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's worth saying is the Zelda cartoon. That's like beyond just like my childhood memories of it or whatever. Like one of my fondest experiences with the series was when we reviewed them together. So
it was great.
I wish there was more. Like I wish that was I wish that was like the thing we did like all the time, was watch the Zelda cartoon.
I know. It does seem a little bit sad that there's like a seemingly endless amount of episodes of Captain N, and even like the Donkey Kong Country show, and with this the Zelda cartoon, there's really like the 12 or 13 episodes, and they leave you wanting more, though, I guess, at least.
It has such maybe it's just because it's Zelda and I love Zelda, but it has such an unbelievable it factor. Like the characterization of Zelda, Link, Sprite, the King. It's just such an amazing set of horrible characters. Ganon, of course, too. Don't forget Big Daddy Ganon.
It's got that Super Mario Bros. 93 thing where it's just like, this is the total opposite of what you think that, like, this cartoon should be. But somehow it pulls it together and it works. So, yes, that is another great reason, by the way, to go over to our Patreon. You can get those episodes, all 13, for like $1. So it's, I remember like we missed a Zelda Cast week a couple years ago, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna release one of the cartoon episodes that we did, and I was editing out the curse words. I was howling listening to these episodes, man. They were so funny.
Oh boy, I can't even imagine.
Well, there it is. Happy birthday to the Legend of Zelda. Thank you for 40 great years, and here's to 40 more. All right. Well, let us go to another franchise that is also in its 40s, and that is Alien. And like I said, we are here today to review the final movie in the Alien anthology that came out in 2017 and is the sequel to the last movie that we covered, which was Prometheus. This is Alien Covenant. And I'm just gonna say right off the top, like, I think that this is a really, really fun movie. I think it's a really solid Alien movie. I had a lot of fun watching it last night. And there's some things that I don't necessarily love about the movie, but I thought, like, putting this away after last night, I was like, yep, this is my type of Alien movie. Like, everything that was going on, I was like, this is so cool. I loved it.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice mix of stuff. Like, overall, I feel like it's pretty... I think what I like about it the most is that it's kind of straightforward in like the premise of the movie.
Yeah.
But it has some of the like the more philosophical stuff from Prometheus, but overall, like, the movie is kind of more of like a straightforward, just like horror. You're in this one situation, you know, there may be some thematic stuff going on, but I feel like it really is more of just like they're down there, they're trying to survive. Crazy stuff's happening to them, and I kind of appreciate it this time. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I think it was like a nice middle ground between Prometheus and like the first couple of movies that you would see, where you do have some more thoughtful moments, but yeah, like I think the aliens look better than they ever have in this movie too, and like what they're doing is just totally gnarly. It's kind of the perfect, like, the special effects I feel like kind of caught up to the vision of what the alien could and maybe should do. So I thought that it came across really well. Cool. I can't remember, Goo, because I know that you and I did Prometheus on Virtual Theater. By the way, Virtual Theater, the podcast about video game movies and the stories that shaped them. If you want to hear Goo and I do more movie reviews, we're in year 7 of Virtual Theater now. There's a lot in the vault.
Oh yeah, a lot. So you can hear us talk about Prometheus twice, because you can hear it on here and on that feed. So check that out.
Just in case you needed a second opinion by the same people. I can't. We didn't do Alien Covenant though, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
but we did it. It was definitely out by then, because this came out before you and I had met. So yeah. So finally paying it off.
Yeah, well, here we are.
I actually saw this in theaters. I'm sure you did, but yeah, I saw this is like one of the. Well, I don't think I saw Prometheus. I don't remember, but I definitely saw this, and and Romulus, obviously. So I remember having fun with this one at the theaters as well.
I remember liking it a lot. I actually will never forget watching Prometheus in theaters because of that scene that takes place, and I was watching it with a buddy of mine, and he was freaking out, and I was like grossed out too, but like he was just like this huge guy just like going nuts watching this scene. But I definitely saw this, and I do remember coming away really liking it, and I would say the same thing watching this again last night. So let's get started. This is the sequel that was directed by Ridley Scott. Originally, this movie was to be called Alien Paradise Lost, and it really kind of it was supposed to really follow the Paradise Lost epic poem, which kind of details like the fall of Lucifer and Adam and Eve and stuff like that. And I think you kind of see that in this movie with the portrayal of David and how he's like sort of like Lucifer-esque in that he's basically rebelling against his creator and trying to just assert his own dominance, and I just, from the moment that, like, last Prometheus I thought was like an excellent movie for the character of David specifically, but like this movie, I think like Michael Fassbender just carries this movie, like, and not to say like when he's not on screen, like the movie is still really good, but like he is the beating soul, I think, of this movie, and the David character in particular I just think is like so fascinating and so interesting and complex. Like, Ripley aside, and maybe even Ripley included, like I think David is the best character in the entire Alien franchise. Like, this guy is just so fascinating to me, and the way that he's portrayed, I just I think Fassbender just like owns the screen every time that he is playing David.
I think it's I wonder if you kind of agree with this read for me, whereas I feel like this is a good payoff to Prometheus, in that in Prometheus a lot of his character it's like kind of on the edge, you know, you're kind of not sure like what his deal is or anything like this. I would say in this movie there's not like as much like development of that character, but more it's like it's the payoff to the first movie, where now like now he's like the serial killer. Like, he's like the horror movie villain in this one. So
no,
in this,
I think you're right on.
They do give you moments with him and Wayland, right, in the beginning. Is that Wayland? And then like between him and what's the other
Walter,
of him. There's those moments, but it's and like the one guy asks him like, oh, what do you believe? But it's like it's not as like trying to be like a smart guy movie as Prometheus.
Yeah.
With like, which I kind of appreciate that they changed the name. Like it's like I feel like Paradise Lost is maybe like sort of on the nose or something, and I like the idea that I always prefer a smart, like a dumb smart movie than like a smart movie that's dumb, if that makes sense. Like I like that there's like the themes in this and stuff, but it's not like the character standing around the whole time going like, oh, what do you think about this?
Let's
Like,
engage in philosophy debate.
yeah.
I do
least
think
in,
that
like, my
could be
big
prevalent
budget.
to Prometheus, yeah. And this one is clearly more of like I said, it's like a meeting in the middle. It's a step back towards like, we got this alien. This alien looks awesome. He's gonna go full buck on all of these guys at this temple, and there's gonna be a little bit of that kind of in between as well. And I was kind of thinking about this morning, and I was like, even the original, like definitely Alien 2, 3, and 4, like definitely like those are monster movies and stuff like that, but there's kind of like the underlying themes about motherhood, whereas like I feel like in these movies like Prometheus and Covenant, they maybe to a lesser extent Prometheus, because I think those themes were very to the front of it, but like Covenant for sure is like a monster movie, but it's got some themes of like creation in there, like where do we come from, like philosophy that it's asking in the backdrop, where I feel like Prometheus, and I love Prometheus a lot, Prometheus, those questions I think are those themes are a little bit more like in your face, which I can understand why some people didn't like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely on this series is on a different train of thought for sure. Like it's exploring different stuff, which I think is okay. Like, especially because, if you're doing, like, I feel like not that this is necessary, but like, and I feel like you could probably pick those themes up again. But like, I feel like Sigourney Weaver, was so much tied to that sort of thing. So I feel like, yeah, why not do something different? I mentioned this in Prometheus too, but I think one thing that isn't as implicitly explored in this, though there are like elements of it, is just sort of like the more like class based analysis. You don't get as much of this about like people getting screwed over by the corporation and whatever, like. So, but I mean, like I said, I feel like this is just on a totally, like, Ridley Scott's down some other train of thought with these movies that he's exploring, and
Yeah.
That's cool. Like I'm kind of into it, even if like I probably prefer Alien and Aliens. That's like, to me in my mind, the ultimate like top tier expression of what Alien is about. But I kind of like these. They're a little bit more interesting than some of the other Alien movies. So
yeah, and I would say like I think Alien Romulus was definitely a step back towards like that kind of class consciousness about Alien. Like the people were literally stranded on that planet. They couldn't leave.
The shitty ass planet.
So that planet did suck. I do like the I like that part, but I really do like the philosophy of like kind of David and his character too. Like I mean, like this is low hanging fruit for me. I'm like the AI trope in sci-fi, I feel like has always been like so fascinating to me, and it's easy to pull me in with that. One thing I guess I will say before we do or get into the movie here, and we've seen this in a couple of the last movies, although Prometheus actually had a lot of connective tissue to Metroid, but I wouldn't necessarily say that like there's a ton of Metroid influence or vice versa into this movie. I don't know if you would agree with that as well, but like in Prometheus, there definitely seemed to be a little bit more, like specifically you've got that black goo mutagen stuff that is transforming people, which I think like very you could draw like a good parallel to Phazon, and I think you could still draw that same parallel in this movie to an extent, but I wouldn't necessarily say that there's a lot in like Aliens, Prometheus, that has a lot in common with Metroid in terms of themes and stuff like that. I don't know if I'd necessarily say that Alien Covenant does.
I guess it's like they're down, and this has kind of been this is a continuation of even the first Alien, but like they're down on this planet where some, like people have been wiped out. We sort of get that even as back as the original Alien, where they find the ship and it's like, what is, all this ancient, not ancient,
what is this stuff?
What is this stuff? And so there's a bit of that with like all the people that he dumped the goo on or whatever he did to him.
He did some bad stuff, which we will get to. Okay, Goo, let's get into this movie here. We start off hot, actually, with Wayland himself, Sir Peter Wayland, Guy Pearce, reprising his role from Prometheus, and he's basically just created David, and this is before the events of Prometheus, obviously, and they kind of engage in this like ex machina style conversation where like David is like confused, I guess would be the word, or just like he's like, I am immortal, you are not. Why am I serving you? Like, didn't you build me to create something better and bigger? And that kind of interaction, I think, like really sets the tone for David's character arc, like right from the very beginning, because like you could see right away that Wayland, who in Prometheus had this very explicit fear of death, feels inferior because his creation has just told him, I will not die ever, you will. And you can kind of see where David gets where like the wheels start turning for him to really hatch his plot.
Yeah, it's a good like kind of recap almost without like actually. I could see like if you watch this and you didn't see Prometheus, like they don't fully like spell out like everything David went through in the first movie, which it was why I think you probably should watch that. But I feel like this is a good way to just reestablish that, and like I actually prefer that they didn't again hit me over the head with everything he went through from the first movie or all like those interactions, because I feel like it's like all just like things building on top of each other. And so I felt like I love that it was just like, here's this is like the kind of dipping you back into the world, and then let's go from there. I also, is that the actual David that Wayland has? I believe it probably is, right?
I think so, like,
okay, so he's like amassed these treasures, which I think is kind of cool.
I wondered, do you think like, first of all, like anybody that hadn't seen Prometheus is going to see Alien Covenant, and I wonder like how, I'd be curious to know like how this movie plays out if you never did see Prometheus, because I could see that, like, because Prometheus didn't have the Alien title in it, of course, where this one I think smartly moves back and does. I wonder how that would play out.
I actually think that's true, because I think I had seen Prometheus, but I think I went with someone who hadn't, and I think that might be like, I feel like this movie is kind of like trying to be both a sequel to Prometheus, but also kind of like with a lot of Alien movies where it's like a soft reboot, in that it's like, let's just kind of remake Alien in a different way. Like, I feel like Aliens was that in a different way. This is that. I think Romulus is kind of that, like, let's kind of redo a lot of the beats of Alien, but like put our own spin on it. And I feel like this was in a unique situation where it was trying to also pay off the David stuff. Like, I feel like if they didn't have to deal with that, like whoever the studio or whatever would have loved to just make this ship goes down. Pardon me, the ship goes down and tries to settle a new planet, but the aliens there, And I think they did a good job, like kind of threading those needles. But I think you could be a little confusing if you didn't know David's whole deal. Like, but you get it. Like it's an AI gone kind of killer mode. Like, I don't know. You've seen that in other movies, so I feel like you can kind of figure that out.
To me, like I feel like this is like very much a sequel to Prometheus, and I mean, like, obviously it was built as that, but you definitely, I think, miss out on a little bit by not having seen that movie. And All right, so David and Wayland have this exchange, and then the movie proper starts. So we are jumping forward. It is about 10 years after the events of Prometheus. So 2104. That's like what, 100 years, less than 100 years away.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll be in like rocket ships by then?
I mean, we were gonna be 8 years ago. We were gonna be in Mars in 5 years.
Right.
And now that's been downgraded. We're going to be living on the moon in 5 years. So,
I might take a chance,
check
like
with
on
Elon.
on a ship that's going to a planet on the other side of the galaxy. I might just be like, yeah, okay, let's do it. I don't know.
I say we let the billionaires go scope it out first.
Oh, good call. Good call. Yeah, there we go. Hey,
you
is this
guys
planet
go
safe?
ahead, take a look.
Yeah. So the year is 2104, and we catch up with the USCSS Covenant, a ship that is carrying 2,000 colonists in hypersleep, plus a crew of about 15, and they are sailing towards a new home, a new paradise, a new planet, and don't know what the planet is called, but this planet is like an Earth-style planet. It's right in the habitable zone, and they are making a long journey to go and find their new home in a new planet. And unfortunately, tragedy strikes. We have a massive solar flare that just like basically damages a good portion of the ship. Although I will say the ship actually held up pretty well for, like, in terms of like the amount of casualties, like there didn't seem to be that many. I think there were 47 colonists and like one crew member that didn't make it, which, like, for a solar flare that you would expect might take out an entire ship, like that's actually almost lucky in a way if you think about it.
Well, yeah, tell that to
James Franco.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always forget that that's James Franco.
He doesn't make movies anymore, does he?
I think he's canceled.
Aptly so. Yeah. So unfortunately, so James Franco is your captain in this movie, and he has about like 6 seconds of screen time because he gets incinerated in the opening minutes of the movie here. The life pod will not come open, and he is just burned alive, unfortunately. So that kind of sets the stage for the movie. So the crew is up. They've been awakened 7 years early from their destination, and everyone is obviously shaken up. And so James Franco, the captain, is actually married to our main character, whose name is Daniels. And Daniels is obviously distraught. She's just lost her husband. And it's made worse because, like, every other person on this ship and the crew is like a couple, with the idea that you are going to reproduce once you get to the new planet that you were from. Worth mentioning, by the way, in addition to the colonists, there's a bunch of embryos on this ship as well. I don't know how that works, but they're there. So
yeah. They're gonna, use those when they get there. Yeah.
We also have the introduction of Walter, not Gunther, but Walter, the AI that is aboard the Covenant as well. And so Walter is also played by Michael Fassbender, but very differently. There's no accent. He's got kind of like an American accent, I guess you'd say, very kind of gruff. He is a newer version of the David model, but built to be less human. Essentially, people, they have the conversation later in the movie where Walter and David get together, and Walter says, like, people were uncomfortable by you because you were too human. And now they've kind of taken away Walter's ability to create, or not think, but like certainly to his emotions and creativity. He's a more mechanical android, I guess you would say.
It's for Star Trek: The Next Generation fans, it's a Data and Lore situation. They went through that where, like, this dude created an android and he freaked everyone out, and so then he's like, okay, take two, and he made Data.
And Lore was too human.
Lore was too human. He got too emotional and he freaked everyone out. And he's like, he's like the freaking Joker.
Oh. Wow, that doesn't sound good. We have an AI program at work called Lore, actually. So
yeah, you told me that's not what you want. You don't want that.
Maybe we should have named it Data. I don't know.
Yeah, Data. Yeah, everyone loves Data.
Yeah, so obviously Daniels here is quite upset. Her husband has just passed away, and they had big dreams. James Franco wanted to build a cabin by the lake on this alien planet, and Daniels is sobbing, telling Walter, "This is my dream, and now it's taken away from me." And Walter still says, "You can build that cabin." She's even got the first nail, as a necklace piece in commemoration of Captain Franco here. So yeah, that's a tragedy, the inciting incident that kind of sets everybody off. But in the fallout here, we have the crew kind of getting together. Actually, before I continue, let's talk about the crew for a quick second here, because like I do think that, like, I think everybody's fine in this movie. Like, all the crew are really good, but it doesn't kind of feel like you have maybe the I don't know, like the star power of Prometheus in the crew. You know what I mean? It does kind of feel like there's a lot of geeks here that are like obviously very clearly getting set up to be killed off later in the movie, which is fine. That's what you want from every alien movie. But Prometheus, you kind of had like Idris Elba. You kind of had what's her name? I'm blanking on. The main Charlize Theron. So I can't believe I just forgot her name.
Yeah.
You had like Noomi Rap, like you had like a pretty like solid list of characters, and like you've got Danny McBride in here who's fine, but I think like it feels a little bit lesser to me than Prometheus, just in terms of like the crew and like how important they were in the story, the amount of development they got. Would you how do you feel about that, or how do you feel about the crew just in general?
I mean, I remember like looking at it, like the top 4 billings of this movie. We talked about Michael Fassbender. He kind of is like the big star, and then obviously your number 1 and 2, Catherine Watterson and Billy Crudup are both, I think, good actors.
Yeah,
you know, definitely. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I think it kind of works. Like, to me, it's like a smaller, like, movie, I guess you could say, or like it is more, like I said, it's more simplistic. It does kind of feel more down to earth. So like the fact that it doesn't have like these mega stars in it is almost, I think, kind of better. I don't know. I guess I think of like, when I think of the original Alien cast, like it is all like awesome actors in my mind, but I feel like when you like in the context of that movie, like it's pretty, I don't know, you don't watch it and you're like, oh yeah, this is like the mega powers here, you know. Yeah. All actors I love, but you know what I mean. It's not like when I think of the people you name from Prometheus, like a lot of that, maybe it's just because it's recency bias, but it's like they're all in like Marvel movies or like big blockbuster movies and stuff like that as like the leads, and I kind of feel like it doesn't distract, but I feel like, I don't know, it kind of works that it's like with these more like, I don't know, I think Billy Crudup's like a really good actor and stuff. So guys like
I think he in particular is really good in this movie, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his the two lead like people that between him and Catherine, I think work really well together. But yeah, some of the other people, it's fine. I think they're fine. I think it's fine. They're
definitely like expendable for sure. They're not there to have a good time or for a long time. So Billy Crudup actually plays the new captain here. So he's Captain Oram, who is taking over from James Franco, and his kind of deal is that he is a man of faith. So very much like Elizabeth Shaw, and he seems to like resent like the fact that I don't know. Like, I actually was a little bit. I've always been a little bit confused at the beginning of this movie with like why he was so against like the crew taking a moment to honor their dead captain. Like, I know that they had to do the repairs, but like one of your colleagues just died, your captain, your leader just died. Like they were taking a moment and he was upset about it. I've always been a little bit confused about that. And then I guess I've always been a little bit confused as well, because he says the line of like, they don't trust a man of faith to make rational decisions. And I was like, is that true? Like, I don't know. Like I feel like they don't really follow up on that in the movie necessarily.
I actually think that's kind of that's like unexplored, and that's something where it's like I think the movie is more of like, oh, we're not really going like, because in Prometheus you had like religious kind of characters, and I feel Elizabeth like that Shaw. that actually played into the story a little bit more. At least I thought that it felt more relevant, even if it didn't play a big part, I guess. Like
it was a big part of the main character's character, you know? Like, yeah.
So I would say, yeah, that I feel like I would have almost just cut it, you know?
Yeah.
I guess he asks him in that one part later, like, what do you believe? But it, like, that line doesn't even feel like, oh yeah, he's coming at it like a man. Like, I thought maybe there would be a scene between him and David where they like actually talked or something, and maybe they could have explored that. But yeah, I don't know.
Well,
maybe that was something that they wanted to be more prevalent, and they just kind of minimized it, and then it was just still there. I don't know.
I mean, maybe. Because like when he asked that question, like, what do you believe? You don't really even necessarily know what he believes. It's just that he's a man of faith. Like, like what do you believe? Like, is what David should have said. Like, you tell me first, you know. But this kind of moment aside, like I do think that that this is kind of a nice moment, or not a nice moment, I guess, like a good introduction to this character who is like very clearly overwhelmed to be at the captain's chair. Would have liked some, I guess, like maybe some payoff between him and Daniels, which I don't think that you really get, because like it's kind of unclear if they're friends, if they're not friends, if he's supposed to be like an adversary or not. They could have used a little bit more time, I think, on those two in particular, but that's kind of like a minor gripe, and I think in the grand scheme of things. It does kind of just make you think of Elizabeth Shaw, though, and it does kind of make, or me anyways, and it does kind of make me go like, this is kind of like a lesser than version of the same idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah, reading up on it, it sounds like the main priority, like they did want to fuse like the philosophical stuff with the horror, but the main priority was the horror. Like they really just wanted to make another Alien movie, and so yeah, it feels like maybe some of that stuff was like not an afterthought, but like something that it was like, oh, we should develop this more, and they're like, nah, maybe not, it's fine.
Well, Goo, while the repairs are taking place, Tennessee, Danny McBride himself is floating around, and wouldn't you know it, he gets a weird transmission. And what does he hear? Country roads take me home to the place.
Of course, Tennessee would pick it up. Yeah,
it's got to be that way. He picks up a distress signal of Country Roads by John Denver.
He should have been West Virginia.
Yeah.
Well, not John Denver, Tennessee. What do we do? Okay. Anyway.
His wife should have been named Virginia. That would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. So they pick up the signal and they run diagnostics on this, and it is actually coming from a nearby planet. And wouldn't you know it, Goo, this nearby planet is perfectly habitable for humans, and it is only a couple of weeks away. Nobody has to enter into hypersleep, which nobody is dying to do after James Franco got incinerated alive, and it looks like a perfect paradise. And they make the decision to go over to this new planet. And it should be noted that Daniels is very much against this decision. You always see like the main character in these Alien movies is the one that's like acting rationally, and everyone else is kind of just like making these snap decisions that don't really make sense. But nevertheless, the course is set, and we are off to this new mystery world, the new home, the new paradise.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of things that happen in this that I think we've talked about this with a lot of the alien movies, where people will kind of like talk about stupid decisions that people make in this. And I feel like this one, more than any of them, there's a lot of things that happen that people kind of pick apart. And one of them is this, like, well, you know, why go there? But I think they do a good job in the movie of selling why some people would want to, why others wouldn't.
I think so. Like, I think it's a very legitimate, like, nobody wants to go back into cryosleep after what just happened. Every one of these these crew members just watched their leader literally get burned alive, which is a freak accident, but like, you get it.
One thing I can't remember is like, because I feel like in the other ones, like the android and like Mother and everything, like they do have kind of like a strict sort of like regiment they have to follow, and like they will put them at risk. But in this one, there's nothing like David's trying to stop them, or like maybe they're too far out for Mother to like, communicate with back home or whatever. Like that's one where I'm like, oh, like I wonder if they, like they're allowed to kind of just like change the plan here. I guess that if David, or not David, Walter, is fine with them going along with it, then it's probably approved. It's probably not out of the realm of like reasonable decisions. I don't know.
Yeah, and there's that scene between Daniels and the new Captain Orm where he's just like, listen, like given the facts that we have, like this is a good decision. It's a good, I don't think he uses the word risk, but like it is risk. And like you can follow the logic. Like it does make sense. And like according to them as well, this is like just a little bit of a detour. So like maybe if it doesn't work out, they're just gonna hop right back on their ship and go back to their destination.
You know what I would have done though? I feel like it would have been a lot more impactful maybe if it was Billy Crudup's significant other who died, because he's the one who ultimately makes the call. And it would have been like, it would have made more sense if he was like, I don't want to keep going. Let's stay here. And maybe, maybe she was like against that. Cause that's usually, cause like, obviously we know as the viewer that they're going to go there and they're going to get kind of destroyed. Yeah. So when we're watching these, and we're usually on the side of like the Sigourney Weaver type character. And so in this one, it's I guess we should be on her side, but I feel like to me it's weird. Like I don't know. Maybe you had a different understanding of it, but I'm like, she should be down to want to stay, after what she went through, like it, of all the people it would affect the most.
Yeah, it should be her, I guess so. That's a good call. I didn't really think of that, but like, yeah, I guess like if maybe putting yourself in her shoes, it's just like, well, like my dream is now gone. Why not? I guess you could maybe, maybe you could say like she wants to now live out James Franco's dream on the new planet, which I don't think that they really hammered that home either necessarily. So I think that that's like a good point. I think that could kind of
like sad. I feel like they could have done more with that, other than like, she was just like really upset.
Well, so we get to this planet, and it's a beautiful, beautiful planet. And I gotta say, actually, this movie reminds me a lot of another movie, and I don't think that you'll be able to guess what it is, but it's also a sequel by a very famed director. Take a stab.
I don't know. I can't even imagine
this movie, and I don't know why, and maybe it's the scene that we'll get to in a little bit at night in the long grass.
Furiosa.
Oh no, that's a good one. That's a good movie.
I don't know why. Okay.
This reminds me of The Lost World, Jurassic Park. Site B. Okay. Like this. It's kind of like the same thing, but you go over to like the home the home turf of the dinosaurs, or the home turf of the engineers, and like there's all this like these creatures running wild trying to get you. I don't know. I just like it struck me while I was watching it last night, and when they really come to the planet, and because I was just like, wow, like you're like it looks the same, but you know that it's different when you get to Site B on the Lost World, and you're just like, there's like an element of danger here, but also like some majesticness as well.
And they're like rediscovering things from the first movie, like elements, and like we get, it's not as like intense, but we're getting like themes, like musical themes from the first movie, like slipped in there, which just made me remember like how good some of that music was in that. But this did a good job of like evoking some of that music. So I can actually, I wouldn't have guessed that, but I can totally see what you mean.
So the Covenant stays up in orbit, and there's a little ship that takes most of the crew down, and they go on like what looks like this really awesome hike. And this one dude, okay, he's just like, I gotta pee, and he goes off and he's smoking a cigarette and he throws it onto the ground of this new planet that he's just landed on. He's polluting, and steps on a spore, and this spore, it's the famous black goo from Prometheus, and it is airborne now, and it infects him. And I'm like, dude, that's what you get for coming down to this new planet and immediately littering your gross cigarette. Shame on you.
Yeah, good punishment. Yeah.
Yes. And it should be noted, by the way, too, there is no wildlife at all of any kind on this planet. This planet is dead. And so the crew is going on a hike, and unfortunately, we start to see a couple people get sick. And it's Cigarette Guy. He gets sick, and he is actually with the captain's wife. And so they head back to the drop ship, and this is where things really start to escalate, and escalate quickly, dude. So this black goo, this airborne contagion is in this guy's blood now. His name is Ledward, and Ledward starts basically like convulsing, and something starts growing out of his back, and this looks freaking gnarly.
A backburster.
It is a backburster. And by the way, okay, I gotta tell you a pet peeve of mine here. Okay, so they're back on the ship, or they're back on the drop ship, and the Ledward, the guy who's about to have the backburster, and this other person, the captain's wife, are in the medical bay, and Tennessee's wife, whose name I forget, let's just call her Virginia. Virginia locks the door to the room. Very smart, right? Because she's just like, this is a biohazard if I've ever seen one. And she watches like the whole thing, and then just as this thing actually like bursts out of this guy's back, then she opens the door and tries to like shoot it. I was like, dude, what are you doing? You just lock that door.
This is like part 2 of like people watching this movie, and some of the logic of the characters like doesn't make sense to them, and that there's so many with this that people bring up. One is,
I'll give them this,
bringing him back on the ship in the first place. Locking them in, then opening the door, then shooting, and they cause that explosion. It's like a series, a cascading event of bad decisions, which I'm not necessarily opposed to. You know,
no,
I feel like this, especially like in that moment, like seeing what is happening is so insane. Like I feel like this person maybe isn't rationally reacting to this. This is not like a, like these people are, I don't know how well trained they are for like
this
dealing with something like this. They did not expect this. So it all makes sense. But in the end, it doesn't really matter because that thing burst right out of the door anyway.
Nice. I saw what you did there.
Oh, doorburster. Yeah. Doorbuster.
A little Linkin Park too. I like it. You are right though. Like,
I didn't even mean that.
Yeah. I can forgive all of those decisions. The only one that I'm just a little bit sus of is like, why would you open the door now of all times? I can totally buy though that this lady is just hysterical, fearing for her life. I would be too, and trying to shoot this thing and accidentally hits the whatever she hit.
It made me laugh when she caused the explosion, honestly, but also when she slipped on the blood. That was pretty funny.
So, like, we got to go back to the backburster though. So Ludwig, he has not the chest burster, but out of the back. This was brutal. This was gnarly, man. Like the way that it just like oozed out like a big egg yolk, and like the mini Xenomorph pops up. Like, this looks absolutely brutal.
Yeah. This creature looked really scary too. It was awesome.
even as a little baby, this creature was like super menacing. So the captain's wife actually gets killed by the little baby even before the ship is exploded. And I guess to bring everybody back up to what we're talking about, so the Virginia goes in and she opens the door, and it doesn't even matter, as Gooey said, because this little Xenomorph baby just bursts right out of the glass in the door and is running around, and she is desperately trying to shoot it, and in a mistake she actually shoots like I don't know, some sort of flammable tank or something like that, and it explodes, and this dropship is done. You see kind of a sad shot, actually, of like, I'm assuming it's probably Virginia running out on fire and then collapsing, which is a throwback to Prometheus, by the way, when what's his face got flamed at the end. So and as this is happening, of course, the Virginia is desperately radioing the other half of the team who did go on this walk, and they did discover that big, crazy, like half circle ship from Prometheus in the wild. So they get to the ship, they go on, and they find the dog tag of Elizabeth Shaw, but of course they are called back to the dropship, and wouldn't you know it, one of their guys is sick too, and also has a Xenomorph just burst out of his chest, which did also look pretty brutal, I will say. Not as visceral as the backburster, but still pretty gnarly.
They do a good job, especially this later when it gets bigger. Like, I like the imagery of like the stark white Neomorphs on like the blackened landscape. Like, looks really cool. Like, it's a nice visual design choice. And yeah, just the way they like even the little ones like are like shredding them up with their claws and stuff. It really is like, yeah, you can talk about like, oh, they should have done X, Y, and Z. The point of this, and it's true in pretty much all the Alien movies, is when these are coming for you, there's like nothing you can do.
Yeah.
You know, no, at least no normal human can do. And like the people who do make it out, like Ripley, yes, obviously, like she did it, but like just like one of the lucky ones, you know, one of the few people who was able to survive. I guess maybe not lucky because she did it so much, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we saw back in Aliens, like a whole set of these space marines just get hosed by them in an instant. So yeah, whatever, she could have maybe made the right choices there. Look, if she would have locked the door, the thing would have busted out and killed them. Like, they're yeah, and they really do a good job of selling them as these like the perfect weapon, as they're called by some.
And I feel like too, like, they don't let up either. Like, you are constantly under attack by these things, because like the whole ship explodes, and this is the moment where I really was like, this is totally Jurassic Park 2, because like, you remember in Jurassic Park they were all in the long grass and the raptors are picking off everybody. Like, they kind of recreate that almost here in the long grass, and it's a really cool shot. The ship is on fire. It's nighttime. There's like long wheat that's growing, and you've got these small. They're not full grown yet, but they're these small Neomorphs hunting the crew, which are all at the ship now. And now you've got two of them running around because there have been two that are popping out. I thought the scene was awesome. The crew does manage to shoot and destroy one of the Neomorphs, and the other one gets away, or doesn't get away, but is scared away, but not before one of the crew members is killed, and Walter actually loses his hand, he saves Daniel's life, actually. So, but then wouldn't you know it, a flare in the sky, and we have a hooded figure arriving. I am such a sucker for this, man, but like, I was like, man, this guy looks so cool. I love this. And it's David with the long hair, the cloak coming in.
Yeah. I was like, this is Andy's love this, I'm sure. He comes in looking like Strider, you know. Like,
he does.
Like, Michael Fassbender as Strider is like the most made for you character.
He just needs like a horse or something. Like,
yeah. Run.
Yeah, he looked cool, and I was just like happy to see David. Like, I love the character of David. I think he's so interesting, and he doesn't say much. He's just like, come with me, right now if you want to live. And so he takes him back to this temple. Dude, this temple would have been such a badass Metroid level.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Man.
This is the most like inspiring Metroid thing in this. Like it just, even though I don't think it actually did, but this felt Metroid-y for sure. I loved it.
Can you imagine you're going down into the basement where all the facehugger eggs are? Your scan visor is scanning all of these things, and they pop out, and now you got to fight them. Like, tell me this wouldn't be incredible in a Metroid Prime game. But yeah, so David takes it back to his hideout here, and it's this really gnarly temple in the midst of a ruined city, and there are just like a gajillion dead engineers around everywhere. And David identifies himself. He says who he is, how he arrived here, and he's telling us a tale that I don't think any of us are supposed to believe, right? Because like you said, in Prometheus, he's kind of like wrestling with what he wants and his goals, and which way is he gonna go? Whereas like in Covenant, I think he's just like the fully realized villain here. So like I don't think that we're supposed to believe that the ship actually crash landed and released all the pathogen. I think we're basically from the get-go supposed to believe like this guy is definitely not telling the truth.
Yeah, that's the one thing where I was thinking like if you're watching this for the first time, that might be believable.
Yeah.
So I do think it works. I think it works both ways though. Like I think if like, oh, he's lying, like it still works. And I think if you didn't know, I think that reveal, when they reveal it later, like it's sold enough that makes sense, and you don't need to know his whole story from the first movie.
Yeah. Which I think is like really impressive actually, because like it really does work to great effect both ways. And so David is saying like Shaw was killed in the crash. The black goo liquid was dispersed airborne and basically annihilated all organic life on the planet. That's why there's no birds, nothing like that. And he has just been here by himself for 10 years. And he has this like creepy workshop, like this creepy laboratory that he has where he's doing like the sketches of like butterflies and like his little science experiments and stuff like that. I love this set. This set was so awesome, man.
Yeah, his like tapestries.
Yes.
Of his research and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Oh, dude. And so again, like I'm a big sucker for like the philosophy of AI and stuff like that in my sci-fi. So obviously that I loved the scenes that followed between Walter and David, where they're basically like bonding, and David is trying to just like teach Walter how to play like the flute and just get to know his brother, as he calls him, a little bit. And and that's where you kind of have this exchange where Walter's like, people thought you were too human, and people were afraid of you, and people were uncomfortable by you. And you get some really interesting back and forth there between Fassbender and Fassbender, which I thought was like really, really well done.
Yeah, again, it's like just enough to kind of get that stuff across from the first movie, but not like we're not gonna, spend the whole movie talking about it. And I thought just having this character who we spent some time with, who's like different than him, but how different is he? Like, I don't know. That was cool. I love the flute.
The flute was great, and they were playing the Prometheus theme too, which I also loved.
That was so sick. They must love that movie.
I like that movie too. So yeah, some really interesting scenes here, and David is ultimately, I think, like disappointed by Walter, by his capacity to, or I guess lack thereof, of not being able to create, have higher thought, emote, anything like that is so crucial and critical to David. And I really loved this line too, where he basically said something along the lines of like, Peter Wayland didn't deserve his creation, or he wasn't worthy of his creation, and I pitied him at the end, which I just thought was like such a great David line to have. And really, like, I think at that point, like, if you didn't know that David wasn't telling the truth, that's when you're just like, okay, like there's something is definitely up with this guy.
Because I guess I can't remember what was his heel turn move in Prometheus.
I would say the big heel turn was spiking Hollander's drink with the black liquid.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I guess you could could you maybe have left that movie thinking like, well, you know, I don't know. I don't know.
You can make the argument, I guess, for what I just said, that Wayland basically directed him to do that. So like,
yeah,
maybe that wasn't David necessarily, but he certainly didn't object, put it that way.
And doesn't he goes off with Shaw at the end?
He does, yeah.
So maybe
his head only, remember?
His head, okay. Yeah, because I was thinking maybe, okay, you could believe like, well, they're gonna work together for, I don't know. How could you believe that? Their missions aren't even, they're the exact opposite. So I don't know.
Well, so I actually love this scene too. One of the crew members is just like, I'm gonna go freshen up, guys. See you later. That was like, you might just start digging. 6 feet will do. Like just get ahead of it. So she goes and she is just, I don't know, healing her wounds or something like that. And of course the Xenomorph shows up, which I really do love, by the way, too, because like you think that these characters are safe. This is a sanctuary, and nope. This alien is just right there, right up in her business. I thought this was like such a cool scene. So obviously the Xenomorph just totally mutilates this poor crew member, and then you have this just wicked encounter with the Xenomorph. And by the way, we should say, so the Xenomorph and the Xenomorph are different. The Xenomorph is like kind of like big white, almost like translucent, like a jellyfish kind of skin a little bit, or what I would imagine.
Yeah.
And it's staring at David, and David is staring at it. And they're having this scene, like, and they're not saying anything, but like they're clearly communicating somehow, some way, and it's really cool. And then the captain comes in, Orem, and shoots this thing, destroys this Xenomorph, and David is quite upset, obviously, and he says something like, to tame a horse, you've got to look it right in the snout or something like that. So like his goal is clearly to try and control these Xenomorphs. But I thought the scene was like really creepy and really cool.
The way it stands, where it's like standing up like a person for a moment, it's like really, there's something really kind of disturbing about that for some reason.
It kind of reminds me of the creature from the end of Alien Resurrection a little bit.
Yeah, or even the latest one, Homeboy at the end, who was kind of inspired by that. Like, there's something unsettling about that, but yeah, I think it really works with within the theme of the movie.
So Orem is basically just like, David, you're full of it. I know you're full of it. Take me to, or tell me what's going on here. And this is my second point where I'm just like, dude, why would you trust this guy? But so David takes Orem down to like a secret lair and is just like, you know what? My master plan, I have been genetically modifying these creatures and trying to create the perfect organism. And you see a flashback of David unleashing the mutagen over the planet. That was hardcore. That was hardcore stuff, man.
That was a heel move.
Oh my god. That is the point of no return. Because all of these engineers, they're looking up, they're so happy, they're waving, and you've just got this like black goopy stuff coming down. And it's really cool because he drops all of these vials, and it looks like DNA strands as it's falling from the sky. I thought that was a cool shot.
I like too, it's like there was that whole thing about Prometheus where it was like, we're in search of these guys, like who's the space jockeys, who are these people or whatever, and then like a character we know like actually found their civilization and he just killed all of them, and so we'll still never know.
Nope. It's a big mystery. Yeah, the big heel
That's
move by
cool.
David for sure. And so David is leading Orm down to this very evil looking chamber. It might as well have a neon sign that's like bad guy lair, right?
Come
And
to my
like,
lair.
yeah. And this egg, this facehugger egg opens up. It looks like extremely dangerous, and David's like, "Oh yeah, just look inside, dude. It's all good." And this guy is just like, and he looks in. And of course, he gets the facehugger right on his face. Now, I could maybe believe that like this dude has lost the will to live because like so many of his crew members have died because of his decision. His wife just died. I could believe he's not thinking straight. But this is the second one where I'm just like, I don't know about this one.
Well, maybe he didn't need to stick his head in or up to it, but otherwise, I think like he has no other option. Like he can't leave.
Yeah.
Up
until he put his head in, I thought that was fine.
Yeah. In fact, that would have been actually the moment I would have. That would have been the moment I think to have them have a more interesting conversation about fate or something like that. I don't think they did.
No, they did not.
Okay, that could have been it. Okay, so then this movie's telling us that the eggs were made by David.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So David had engineered the Xenomorphs, but he had also engineered the facehugger eggs, which
I assume those come from the Xenomorphs.
I don't know. Maybe they didn't really go into depth on that, which is fine actually, because I feel like they don't really need to. Like I think like the takeaway is that like somehow, some way, he has created all of these facehugger eggs, and this is where the Xenomorphs, as we know them, come from. And so obviously somehow, we're gonna get a bunch of these created on LV-426 at a future date. But that was kind of the cool revelation, is like David did this, and like his influence really extends far beyond like these couple of movies. Like it does go into every Alien movie going forward as well. So yeah, the chest burster gets Orem. I would have had David maybe like slightly just push his head in. That's all I would have had him do. This would have been perfect. But
why not? Yeah, why not?
Yeah. And at this point as well, there's another like just like super gnarly scene with David and with Walter, where Walter is coming up and basically like the mask is off. Everyone knows David is not telling the truth now. Everyone knows that there is a Xenomorph or there was something in this temple that is hunting them, and they are desperately trying to leave. The crew does make contact with the Covenant, and the Covenant is sending a little like rescue ship down to get them. And they're trying. The crew are desperately trying to round up the stragglers and get the hell off this planet so that they can all leave. And yes, I think it's apparent. Like by this point, that David's story does not check out at all, and this guy is probably bad news.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So Orm is killed by the chest burster, and now we've got our first little Xenomorph here, and this is the "What do you believe?"
Yeah, or it's like, okay, dude.
I believe whatever doesn't kill you makes you stranger, or whatever he says. So, I
would have loved if he said it in the Heath Ledger Joker.
Dude, so I really like this. It's like sort of corny, but like not really. I don't think so. Like when the little baby Xenomorph comes out, David, he puts his hands up like he's cheering, and the baby Xenomorph does as well. So you can kind of.
I popped huge for that in the theaters. I remember. I was howling. I remember that's like an all-time great moment in the series, I think.
I like it. Okay, it's just like he's trying to look the horse in the snout or whatever, and really develop a bond with this little guy.
He's trying to imprint on it.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Imprint, yes. Yeah, and I don't know if he's successful or not. Like, I mean, the thing never attacks David, so must have been sort of
Oh,
successful.
he's good. He's good. Yeah.
I wonder if it doesn't attack David though, because like the xenomorphs are attracted to organics and not synthetics.
But I know he clearly had some. I think he's got something there with the.
I think he does too, actually, because we've seen xenomorphs attack synthetics before, right?
And I think I think it knows that he's their mama.
Well,
I think it just knows.
He probably does, and that's a moment that it's a bonding moment for sure.
Yeah, one of the top 10 moments in the Alien franchise is that.
So anyway, going back to what I was originally saying, so Walter goes to confront David and is just like, "You released the pathogen, didn't you?" And he's like, "Hell yeah, I did. You should join me, brother. Join me." And what does he say? Would you rather serve in heaven or would you rather rule in hell? And David tries to kiss
Classic
Walter,
line.
and Walter just is not interested in that. And just when you think that they're about to fight, pop, David just does something to Walter, and Walter crumbles. I didn't even see what he did, actually, to be honest.
It's a little something to his neck or something,
Something
right?
like that, yeah.
Even a little, I don't know, maybe just hits the off switch or something.
A little, how you doing? So yeah, here we go. And now there's like a full grown xenomorph too that's just popped out of Orm's chest. So we have a xenomorph, we have David, and we have like I think about 3 or 4 crew members left. One of them gets absolutely so one of them gets a face hugger on their face, but it gets ripped off after a couple seconds. But the acid burns the hell out of this guy's face. That was gnarly.
Yeah, horrible.
And then the xenomorph gets the other guy who rescued this crew member. And so honestly, and at the same time as well, Walter is just like, guess what? Few upgrades since your day, David. And he's got some kind of self-repair thing going on. And they have a pretty decent fight. And this is after David reveals that he, in fact, did kill Elizabeth Shaw and experimented on her. And this is a great line, too, when he says to Daniels, like, when she's like, what did you do to her? Exactly what I'm going to do to you. Great.
That's
a great line.
I like when he's like, okay, I get to go mask off in villain mode. He's like, I just get to really have fun with this.
Which, like, you don't see that a whole lot with David. He's usually kind of like teetering on that edge where he's just like, he's playing pleasant, but you could tell there's something sinister underneath. So when he does get to be just full sinister, it's awesome.
I really feel like he it was like, I got what I wanted. I got the xenomorph out of that person, and I'm good now. So now I can really go off.
So yeah, Walter and David have a duel, and
I kind of laughed at this.
Oh, it
wasn't like
powerful swings and stuff. Like,
yeah, it wasn't like bad or anything. I just saw it Michael Fassbender like doing karate against himself or whatever. It's funny.
You know what? It was literally The Matrix, actually. Like the exact kind of like effects that The Matrix uses when somebody gets like punched by an agent or something. Like how they go flying. I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah. No, it actually looks pretty good, and like yeah, and it's got some good hard hitting stuff. I like when he's smashing him in the face. And like the milk is coming out of him or whatever. You're like, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
It was good. It was a good brutal fight. Yeah. The imagery of Michael Fassbender like to himself is funny to me.
I know kung fu. So the key moment here, by the way, okay, the key moment is David is down, he's out. And Walter is on top of him, and he's got like the killing blow lined up, and David's like, "What will you do, brother? What will you do?" As David is reaching for a knife, and it cuts away. And I think at that moment, did you kind of try to remember the first time you saw this? Did you kind of remember the twist or knowing the twist?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's like, okay.
I don't think they were trying to hide it too hard.
I was thinking that about the other thing too, where like the actual like reveal of him being a villain. It's like, I don't know if is it bad writing, or does the movie just like be like,
This, yeah, I think they were just. I think like by cutting away from that moment, the movie's basically telling you like what's going on, and it's just like how we're gonna reveal it. But let's get there. So the dropship comes down. It picks up Daniels. It picks up Walter. It picks up Lope, the other guy whose half of his face has been melted off by the acid. They're the only three left, and yeah, so they have a pretty fun scene actually where this dropship is trying to get away, but the Xenomorph jumps on, and they have to do a bunch of crazy stuff to get rid of it. I thought this was like a pretty fun little moment.
Yeah, that we didn't really talk about it, but there was a whole other element that people criticize about where the ship can't come down because there's like a storm.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and like they do it anyway. But like, it's similar to like them taking off their helmets in Prometheus, where like that actually didn't matter. Like maybe it was a stupid move, but it didn't matter. Like they went down. I think it was really just to keep them away from the planet for a minute. So like the fact that he was like, like it would have been one thing. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna go down, and then like the hurricane destroys their ship or something. But it was just to buy time, so people just chill out. It's fine.
To be honest, I feel like that I didn't even like. I don't think that that's a big deal at all. Like, yeah, like sure, you're putting yourself in danger by going down that low, but like, that I feel like it wasn't like by going to that distance, like the 40 kilometers up from the storm or whatever. It wasn't like you were guaranteeing that the ship was going to destroy itself. It was just like this could potentially be really dangerous, and I think that like the characters were like, well, okay, let's just risk it.
It's so they could get down there at the exact right time.
That's right,
to save them. Yeah.
Yes. Any earlier, we would have had way too many people on that ship. Would have been too heavy. But now we've got the right load to make it out. I gotta say too, like I know I mentioned it earlier, but like I think there was that one shot of the Xenomorph in the temple as the ship was coming in. This Xenomorph I thought looked so awesome. Like it looked scary, it looked sleek. But I think it's still like it was very like sleek and flexible, but like it still kind of had that intimidating powerhouse aura that the Xenomorph had in like Alien. I thought that they looked awesome in this movie.
This is one of the top movies in terms of like how the aliens look on screen and act on screen, for sure.
Yeah, and it should be, obviously. Like, if you could say a lot about like modern movies and CGI and stuff like that, but like this should be the best that they look, and luckily it is.
Theoretically, there's so many reasons why it could not be.
Yeah,
like so props to them still. I think props to them, because they could have, especially if you're like, oh, we're doing like they really leaned into wanting the aliens to look cool and like the violent moments to really actually come off brutally. Like I think they did a great job with this, just in the terms of like an intense horror aspect. Like they did a great job.
Well, Goo, we're off the planet. The Xenomorph has been literally crushed by like a tractor hand or something like that. I don't know what it was, but it was pretty cool. And we're off the planet. We're back on the Covenant, and there's like 5 people left alive, 6 including Walter. So not the best, but still a salvageable mission, and everything is kind of winding down a little bit. However, this, my friends, is an Alien movie, so you know that there is going to be another attack at the very end when you are least expecting it. Although, I mean, at this point, you're definitely expecting it. And there is, Goo, an unidentified life form in the ship. Not good.
What do you expect?
So the dude whose face got melted off by the acid, he did have a face hugger on his face for it couldn't have been more than like 20 seconds, right? But hey,
it doesn't take long.
Sometimes 20 seconds is all you need, And he was impregnated with a Xenomorph baby inside of him, and this baby has burst out, and So we didn't talk about these other two people at all, but like there's this couple that is like the pilots on the ship, and I gotta say, Goo, if I'm gonna die hooking up with my hot wife in the shower, like moments before it happens, that's not the worst way to go. You know?
I can't imagine these chest bursters feel good.
Well, but
I feel like it would.
Yeah,
like I override the good part.
Well, that's what the dude who had got burst out of his chest. Like that's horrible. Like the other guys that were showering, this couple was showering and doing their thing. I think it was over pretty quick for them.
Oh, right.
They wouldn't have even noticed it.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not all bad here at the end,
Out of all the ways to go, I would have taken this one in this movie.
If you had to pick from any of these,
if I had to pick, yeah.
I'm not gonna go with being lit on fire and marching around for a while. No.
You know what? Actually, I will say maybe the way James Franco went out wouldn't be the worst because you're just asleep. You don't even know what's going on. You're not awake. Maybe that.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
he wasn't awake. Is that right?
Well, I don't know if did he wake up. Like
that would really suck if he did. That would be really bad. Yeah. Nevertheless, we have another Xenomorph on the ship. And if you didn't know at this point, you see Walter and he is like just his eyes are lit up watching this Xenomorph on the ship cameras or whatever. And it's just like they are telling you right here, no, nothing is what it seems with Walter. And so here we go. We've got another. So if you and I are on a spaceship and there is an unidentified life form, I know exactly what we need to do. We need to go to the airlock. We need to just find a bunch of heavy stuff, and we need to open the doors and suck this thing out into space. This is like Space 101 if you are on a ship. And that's exactly what Daniels and Tennessee do. And it almost seems a little bit easy, I will say.
Yeah. That was what I mean. I think the ending really that probably speaks to it. I mean, the movie's already pretty long. I feel like it's kind of a, you know what I would have done actually, if we wanted to actually sell Walter, is maybe have him take care of this situation. You know what I mean? Have him save the crew, and it could have been quicker. And then you're like, oh, okay, maybe it's Walter. And then it's like a re-swerve, because
okay.
Because I could see him. I know he was like really upset by the one getting killed, but I could see him, maybe David doing the calculus of like, okay, if I take care of this, that one dies, but I have a ship full of human bodies and embryos that I can do all types of experiments with, so I feel like that would have been maybe good if they tried to sell it a little bit more. But I feel like the encounter is quick either way, because it's like, a good call. It's not actually the important part.
And I guess to your point, like having him be more directly involved would have been great. He was like opening and kind of directing Alien, I guess, to where it needed to go. So like there was no suspicion on him at this point. But that would have been actually kind of cool if he was like directly involved with the ending there. He still got one hand, by the way. So yeah, as we'll get to in a second, there are some modifications to David made to really sell this Walter part. But yeah, so you
know what? I'll give them some credit, because you could be like, oh yeah, he did sort of help. Like if he was, I think that's maybe why it's so short. It's just to show like, oh, if he was David, wouldn't he just let them get killed?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of door opening and closing. It does kind of bring back memories of Alien 3. Whatever that scene was. Yeah. I still don't know what that scene was like. Anyways.
Yeah. Jeez.
So the Xenomorph is sucked out into space. Daniels is alive. Tennessee is alive. And by God, they are continuing their mission. They are going back to this planet that they originally were going to. And they are entering hypersleep. And Tennessee, he goes and he's drifting away. And Shaw's in her pod. And she's like, Walter, I love you so much. Thank you for saving my life. And just as she's about to go to sleep, she's like, "Wait a second, Walter. Will you help me build the cabin by the lake?" And Walter has no idea what the hell she's talking about. And this is great, too, because you can hear her vitals and her heart rate starts spiking. And so, like, Walter doesn't even try and hide it. He just, like, he has this, like, smile. And she's just like, "No!" And David, who is the big reveal here, it's actually David. It was him all along. He's just like, "Don't let the bed bugs bite," in full evil, sinister mode. This was great. I love it. He goes to sleep, or she goes to sleep, and he puts on the same music, Richard Wagner, as he does as Waylon was listening to at the beginning, and basically regurgitates some embryos.
Oh, puts them in the little It's the the entry of the gods into Valhalla.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Just like great stuff by David, and you could tell he's just like, I have got 2,000 less 47 bodies to play around with for the next 7 years as we arrive to our destination. I would hate to see what that paradise planet looks like now, Goo. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it doesn't look good.
No, I don't. I can't imagine.
And not only this, by the way, but he's got a fully functioning ship. So hypothetically, David could have made more of these facehugger eggs and went to 426 or whatever the planet is from the first Alien.
So you think this is like the start of that? Is that what we're
potentially?
Supposed to believe?
I think that's like definitely one inference that you can make. Yeah.
It has to be, because I think this kind of once this sort of posits that he cultivated the egg. So
yeah.
Okay. Well, this makes me wonder. Like, I don't think they decide to kind of just do a harder reboot on not on the continuity, but like the characters were following. But do you think? I don't know. I guess this wasn't that well received, but I feel like there's room, especially within Romulus, where they brought back the goo. Like, is there not room for our heroes from Romulus to go up against David?
Oh, dude, that would be so unbelievable. I really, really like. I know I've said it a bunch of times. I really like the David story in Prometheus and in Covenant. I think that there is so much left with this character that you could do. There won't be another Ridley Scott Alien movie. He said he's retired from the Alien franchise, which is too bad. And I think that if you left it at this, that would be fine. But man, if they brought David back for like the Romulus crew or even like a new crew, dude, I would be so pumped.
It would be cool to see. Was it Andy?
Yeah.
Andy dealing with David.
Oh,
David
man.
trying to kind of win him over would be kind of interesting if they actually
he goes
like,
for
really
the big smooch again.
The big they hit him
come join my side.
I did like that this, because so many Alien movies end with they kill the alien, there's a fake out, but then then it's okay. Like, I do like this one just straight up ends like everyone's dead. And I thought that was cool.
I think the ending is awesome. I don't think they're trying to hide it either. Like, I think like the moment that the scene cuts away with Walter and David, I think that David is the one that sneaks onto the ship. But like, even so, the reveal was so great, and David is so sinister with that line. And I think that he is like one of the most fascinating characters in the entire franchise. And I know that some people don't like. I think they think that Prometheus and maybe to a lesser extent Covenant over-explains a little bit of the lore, but I really like that stuff. I would love to see Fassbender back in the Alien franchise, or just like David in general. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's recast or something.
Yeah. Well, I think Fassbender would be cool.
Yeah.
I feel like you gotta have him, or it's not the same. It's not gonna.
Yeah. They should do that soon. And Alien Romulus was a big success, so like hopefully they can do that, because if you were to mesh those two worlds into like a new movie, like that would be, I mean, like that would just be so awesome. And he's an android, so he doesn't age, so you can get away with anything you want.
Yeah, I mean, they had, like I said, that stuff from Romulus, and they like got a little weird with it in the end. So like, I feel like there's room to kind of go back to some of that stuff. Yeah.
You know what is one of the teases in the Alien franchise that I've always really wanted, and they never followed up on? And of all movies, AVPR gave us this, but it was the introduction of Yutani at the end. Because like we know about Wayland a little bit, but like we never really hear about Yutani, and they obviously never followed up on that. Nor is AVP the platform to follow up on that, I think. But like that would be cool too, just to see a little bit, you know, about that side of the company.
Well,
hopefully,
I'm not gonna say anything.
Well, we have to check out Alien Earth. That's next, Goo. Yeah, that's next.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it. So
did you watch it already? Okay, I have not. I've been holding out for Alien in review.
Okay,
I didn't think it would take us this long.
I kind of wish I did, because like, not that I disliked it, but I don't want to say how I felt about it. But
don't.
I'm like, I gotta rewatch it. Yeah.
I had multiple people like a year ago message me. They're just like, dude, what do you think of Alien Earth? And I was like, I haven't watched it. I'm going to. And none of them said anything, but the inference I got was like something wild happens. I don't know what it is, or just like some wild story decision. Oh. I can't wait to talk about it, and I can't wait to discuss it. I think that'll have to be a 2-parter, Alien in review, I think.
Sure. Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Do it. All right,
well, good. I hope we get a confirmation on, you know, there's supposed to be another season. That's what I'm hoping we can get that. It would be nice if we could, you know, if it lined up with us doing that, and we could just, you know, go right into it. That would be cool.
Okay. Any final thoughts on Alien Covenant before we get out of here?
No, I mean, I liked it a decent amount, surprisingly. Like, I feel like there are a lot of things that, you could nitpick at, but I just think as a straight up like horror movie, I think it's really good. And then I think it sprinkles in the kind of like new elements that Prometheus had, but not in a way, like, I feel like it walks the line pretty well of being a horror movie while carrying forward some of that stuff. And yeah, some of the best presentation of the aliens in the series, I think. So yeah, I'm into it.
Hell yeah. Okay, well, that is going to do it for the final movie at this point, anyways, in the Alien series, in Alien in Review. So let us know what you think of Alien Covenant. If you liked it, didn't like it, want to see David return in any future installments, we'd love to know your feedback. And Alien in Review will return. We will be back with Alien Earth, and hopefully we're going to be back with some other Alien content in the not too distant future either. Goo, tell everybody where they could check you out over on socials.
Let's see. You know, I mainly post on Blue Sky from the Flashback 64 account. So that's literally our tag on Blue Sky is flashback64.com, and that's also our website. So just go check that out. And otherwise, you know, you can come talk to me I'm sometimes in the Omega Metroid server, also the Flashback 64 server. Come hang out and we can talk about Alien. It's a good time.
Okay, well, that is going to do it for us, my friends. Thank you for coming on today with me, Goo. I always appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, yeah.
Anytime. And yeah, we want to thank everybody for listening. Make sure to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/spnet. You can get Gooey Plays Metroid, the Great Metroid Area Ranking, ROM Hack Reviews, the Zelda cartoon episodes, and a ton of other goodies as well. And OmegaMetroid.com has you covered for all of your Metroid needs. We've got news, guides, maps, walkthroughs, you name it, it's there. If you want to watch these episodes in full, beautiful video form, Omega Metroid's YouTube page is where you want to go and check those out. And we should also say, one last time, if you want to hear Goo and I talk about movies in in greater detail and all types of different movies. Virtual Theater, the podcast about video game movies and the stories that shape them, wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out over on Blue Sky, Spiteri 316, GUI Fame, Flashback 64, and Omega Metroid. That, my friends, is going to do it for us. So, until next time, everybody, take care.